Tonight, the breaking news as we come on the air involving President Trump's trade war with Canada and Mexico. After 2 phone calls with Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, what President Trump has now just agreed to, just hours after putting tariffs on hold for Mexico after a call with Mexico's president. Markets rattled overnight, and this morning the market swings, and the conservative Wall Street Journal calling this the dumbest trade war in history, with millions of Americans bracing for the potential for higher prices. So what the president got from Mexico and Canada tonight, and he was asked in the Oval Office, were you paying attention to the markets? Did you blink? Also tonight, new questions about Elon Musk's role, now a special government employee. So what is that? And Democrats tonight asking, why was Musk given access to the payment systems for millions of Americans at the Treasury Department? Tonight, President Trump answering that question, saying Musk was given access to let people go that he thinks are no good, if we agree with him. Tonight, the chilling first images of the fuselage being pulled from the Potomac, American Airlines Flight 5342. We also have new reporting tonight on the Blackhawk and how high it might have been flying. There are new questions on this tonight. And in Philadelphia this evening, the jet crash that killed 7, the black box, has now been found inside a crater 8 feet deep from that crash. The plane in the air less than a minute. And the boy in a car who had metal from the plane in his head, he has survived surgery. We have news on his condition tonight. The scare on board a United Airlines flight to New York City, flame seen coming from the engine. The horrific scene in court today, a hearing in a murder case, erupting into a courtroom brawl. Tonight, the pileup on the highway here in the Northeast as we track 2 major storms. One hitting now, the other a potential ice storm from the Midwest right into the Northeast. Lee Goldberg has the new forecast. The driver plunging 100 feet off the highway, the rescue tonight. And California's heroes take center stage at the Grammys. The tributes to the firefighters, the first responders, and the thousands who lost everything.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to start a new week with all of you at home. We begin tonight with the breaking news. Just a short time ago, President Trump, after 2 phone calls with Canada's Prime Minister, putting those 25% tariffs on hold with Canada. They were set to go into effect at midnight tonight. On hold now for 30 days, and this comes just hours after a phone call with Mexico's president, putting tariffs on hold with Mexico as well for 30 days. President Trump accusing both countries of allowing fentanyl and undocumented immigrants to flood the U.S. border. Mexico and Canada had planned retaliation, preparing to impose their own tariffs on U.S. goods in exchange. But in a call with Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, she agreed to send 10,000 soldiers to the Mexican side of the border. Then late today, after their second phone call, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau promising to appoint a fentanyl czar and to implement a $1.3 billion plan that Trudeau had announced weeks ago to reinforce the border. The threat of tariffs and then the threats of retaliation rattled the markets last night and into this morning. The Wall Street Journal had called this the dumbest trade war in history. Well, tonight it appears it's been averted, at least for now. ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott at the White House tonight.
Tonight, after feverish last-minute talks, a truce in the looming trade war. Late tonight, after 2 phone calls with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, President Trump announcing the hefty 25% tariffs he threatened are now on pause, just hours before they were scheduled to go into effect. It came after a morning call with the president of Mexico, when Trump agreed to pause tariffs on that country's goods as well for 30 days. Trump's threats had sent markets tumbling overnight and into the morning, as economists warned the tariffs would send prices soaring for American consumers on everything from groceries to cars to electronics.
I'm not concerned. We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that. But long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world.
Both countries had vowed to retaliate. In Canada, American sports teams booed during the national anthem. Canadian liquor stores taking American whiskey off the shelves. The Wall Street Journal editorial page calling it, quote, the dumbest trade war in history. Overnight, Dow futures down hundreds of points.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
I don't know.
Thank you, guys.
How is the market doing?
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Let's go.
I did.
I don't know. I don't think about it.
Hours earlier, Trump cut that deal with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. Mexico will now send 10,000 troops to the border to help tackle illegal immigration and to prevent fentanyl from flowing into the U.S.
Did you blink this morning?
There was no blinking. No, she's a wonderful woman, but she did agree to 10,000 soldiers on the border. I would say that's a lot. Would you say that's pretty good?
Negotiations with Canada took a little longer.
Canada is very tough. They're very, very tough to do business with.
But tonight, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau saying they have reached an agreement that in addition to Canada implementing its existing $1.3 billion border plan, Canada will appoint a new fentanyl czar, list cartels as terrorists, and launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering.
David, tonight the president emphasizing these are only temporary pauses for the next 30 days, and he's still moving forward with tariffs on China. Those have not been paused. They are set to go into effect tonight at midnight, 10% on all imports, David.
Rachel Scott leading us off from the White House. Rachel, thank you. Tonight there are new questions about Elon Musk's role. He's now been classified a special government employee. So what does this mean? ABC News had already learned that Musk has been given access to the Treasury Department's payment system, including the personal information of millions of American workers. And tonight, Musk working to shut down the humanitarian agency USAID or vastly reimagine the agency. Workers informed to stay home. Today in the Oval Office, President Trump was asked, why has Musk been given access to the Treasury, the payment systems, the information involving millions of Americans? The president answering on Musk to let people go that he thinks are no good, if we agree with him. Here's Jonathan Karl.
Tonight, backlash after Elon Musk seized control of USAID, the agency that provides U.S. humanitarian assistance around the world, locking out employees, essentially shutting it down. It's Musk's first major move to slash government spending.
As we dug into USAID, it became apparent that what we have here is not an apple with a worm in it, but we have actually just a bowl of worms.
USAID's $43 billion budget is a tiny fraction of what the government spends, about 1%. But its support is a critical lifeline for people in need around the world, helping an estimated 32 million children suffering malnutrition and bringing food, water, shelter, and health care to victims of natural disasters. But Musk, the world's richest man, says the agency is hopeless, posting on X, quote, "We spent the weekend feeding USAID into the wood chipper." This comes as sources tell ABC News Musk's team at the Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE, now has access to the Treasury Department's payment system. This is essentially the government's checkbook. It processes trillions of dollars in payments and includes the personal information of hundreds of millions of Americans.
Mr. President, why is it important for Elon Musk to have access to the payment systems at Treasury?
Well, he's got access only to letting people go that he thinks are no good if we agree with him, and it's only if we agree with him. He's a very talented guy from the standpoint of management and costs.
Democrats are outraged.
An unelected, unaccountable billionaire with expansive conflicts of interest, deep ties to China, and an indiscreet axe to grind against perceived enemies is hijacking our nation's most sensitive financial data systems and its checkbook.
But Elon Musk's influence is sweeping throughout the administration. It was late last week that the DOGE team showed up at USAID offices in Washington and demanded access. USAID employee Christina Dry described the scene.
DOGE was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I felt would be incriminating. No one was talking. We heard they started taking transcripts automatically of all of our Google Meets. They unplugged the news in the little kitchen galleys. It didn't feel good. And then Saturday, all of the websites went down, and then I lost complete access to my computer.
And this morning, all the agency's employees received a notice telling them not to come to work today. Now what is left of USAID is going to be folded into the State Department under the direction of the new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
All right, Jonathan Karl and our team following all of this from Washington. John, Elon Musk now classified, as I mentioned, as a special government employee. So tell us exactly what this means tonight.
A special government employee, David, is basically somebody who is on the job temporarily, a maximum of 130 days. They are not bound by the same ethics requirements that full-time government employees are, but again, can only be on the job for 130 days. Elon Musk is not being paid for his work at the Department of Government Efficiency, but David, his companies have taken in nearly $19 billion in federal contracts over the last 10 years.
John Carl in Washington tonight. John, thank you. Next tonight, new reporting in those back-to-back deadly plane crashes. From Washington tonight, the chilling images of the fuselage of that American Airlines plane being pulled from the Potomac. And tonight, what we've learned about the Blackhawk helicopter, how high it was flying that night. This is conflicting information from those early days. And in Philadelphia tonight, the black box from that medical transport jet that crashed has now been found inside a crater 8 feet deep from the crash. The plane was in the air less than a minute, 7 people killed, and among those injured on the ground, a boy in a car. Metal from the plane lodged in his head. We have learned he has survived surgery. And again tonight here, Gio Benitez.
Tonight, the extraordinary scene, the fuselage of that American Airlines flight pulled out of the Potomac River, the cabin in shreds, the crash with that Blackhawk killing 67 people. So far, 55 of their bodies have been identified. The medical examiner now working to identify additional remains recovered today.
It is my belief that we're going to recover everyone.
Dozens of the victims' families gathering yesterday for a solemn memorial on the runway at Reagan National Airport. Now tonight, the question, was there a discrepancy in the tower radar seen by air traffic control, which may have shown the helicopter at 200 feet?
Initial data indicates that he may have seen 200 feet. That needs to be verified.
200 and below is where the helicopter should have been, but some of the most trusted location data shows the crash happening at just over 300 feet. The NTSB also evaluating the jet's flight data and cockpit voice recorders. And overnight in Philadelphia, investigators locating the black box of the medical transport jet that plunged to the ground, killing 7. The voice recorder found 8 feet deep inside that crater.
If you look at the impact and how deep that crater is, it was a very steep angle at which that aircraft came down.
Data from Flight Radar 24 shows the medevac Learjet en route to Mexico was in the air for under a minute before the crash. All 6 people on board that jet killed, including a mom and her 11-year-old daughter who had just received medical care at nearby Shriners Children's Hospital. Another killed in a car on the ground. At least 24 people injured, among them 10-year-old Trey Howard, his father describing the harrowing scene to our Stephanie Ramos.
We're turning to Cottman Avenue and you just hear a loud bang and then a ball of fire. I turn around, he has metal out the side of his head.
Trey then rushed to the hospital where he underwent emergency brain surgery. He's now in recovery.
And David, there are still so many questions. The NTSB is now working on a detailed timeline for both of these crashes to see exactly what went wrong. David.
All right, Gio Benitez and the team, I thank you for your reporting for days now. Thank you. In the meantime, this scare involving a United Airlines flight, it was from Houston to New York. Terrifying moments caught on video just before takeoff. The cabin filling up with smoke, flames bursting out of one of the engines. 104 passengers and crew safely evacuating, some down an emergency slide. The FAA tonight saying the takeoff was safely aborted because of a reported engine issue. An investigation now underway. We're going to turn now to the horrific scene in a New Mexico courtroom. A murder suspect standing before a judge when the uncle of his alleged victim lunges for him. A courtroom brawl ensued. Here's Mola Lengi.
The video shows Alexander Ortiz in the orange jumpsuit accused of killing his ex-girlfriend, Aliana Farfan, standing before a district judge in Albuquerque when Farfan's uncle, Carlos Lucero, barrels over the partition, along with another man, Pete Yasasi, attacking Ortiz. The defendant's father joining the melee until finally the corrections officer trying to shield the defendant draws their taser. Heavily armed deputies storming the courtroom, arresting the attackers a full minute after the attack began. The men were treated at the hospital and released. They're due back in court next month. According to court documents, after the attack, Lucero told deputies it was worth every moment, and he killed my niece like a coward. The incident raising questions about courtroom security and reminiscent of this moment in a Las Vegas courtroom last year when a man flew over the bench and attacked a judge. That man was sentenced to decades in prison.
Well, David, the hearing for Ortiz was reset for next week, and they've already requested extra security for that one, David.
Mola Lengi with us tonight. Mola, thank you. When we come back, the dramatic rescue, the driver plunging 100 feet, right off the highway. You'll see the images, and we're tracking 2 storms tonight. One hitting right now, blinding snow, heavy rain, and then an ice storm from the Midwest right into the east, D.C. to New York to Boston. And so Lee Goldberg is standing by. He'll time it all out for us in a moment. Tonight here, we're tracking 2 major systems. The first hitting right now in the west, the other a potential ice storm from the Midwest to the Northeast. Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our station WABC here in New York with us tonight. Hey, Lee.
Hey, David, an atmospheric river still pounding the west coast. In fact, a new low is moving on shore tonight into tomorrow. We could see over 4 inches of rainfall north of San Francisco, and then there'll be mountain snows from the Sierra all the way into the Rockies. We could see up to 4 feet over the next few days. By the way, some of that rain could go to Southern California tomorrow night. A piece of that Pacific energy, it's headed into the Midwest. We're very concerned about a possible ice storm along and north of I-70, blossoming on Wednesday afternoon and going into Wednesday night. By Thursday morning, from the Great Lakes to the Northeast, a nasty morning commute from D.C. to New York, snow to Boston by late morning. A similar storm could affect the same places Saturday. David?
Well, Thursday morning we'll be on the watch, Lee. Thank you. When we come back, the driver plunging 100 feet off the highway, the rescue in a moment, and the incredible moment, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, and the tribute to the firefighters and first responders. To the index, the rescue of a driver who plunged 100 feet off Highway 101 along the Oregon coast. Cannon Beach firefighters rappelling to the car, securing the vehicle, using ropes to pull the driver to safety. That driver is okay tonight. Tight security for Sunday's Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Eagles. It comes weeks after the New Year's terror attack that killed 14 people. Local police, along with 200 state police and 300 National Guard troops in place. When we come back here tonight, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, honoring the heroes, the firefighters, in a moment. Finally tonight here, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, that history-making moment for Beyonce. There was so much talent last night, and the heroes, they were honored too. The 67th annual Grammy Awards, the artists honored last night, their music, but California's heroes were right there on stage too, being honored all night. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars with a surprise duet of California Dreamin'. They would honor California's heroes the whole evening. And the night's big winner, Beyonce.
Cowboy Carter.
Taylor Swift presenting the award, Beyonce becoming the first black woman to win a Grammy for Best Country Album with Cowboy Carter, also winning Album of the Year.
I think sometimes genre is a cold word to keep us in our place as artists, and I just want to encourage people to do what they're passionate about and to stay persistent. Wow.
First-time winner Sabrina Carpenter winning 2 Grammys for Best Pop Vocal Album and Best Pop Solo Performance. Chappell Roan winning her first Grammy for Best New Artist. And she used her moment on the stage to ask record labels to take better care of emerging artists, young artists, asking for health care for them.
Labels, we got you, but do you got us?
First-time nominee Benson Boone receiving a standing ovation for his high-flying performance. And the final presenters of the night would be the heroes once again. The LA County Fire Department on stage to present that award and to send this message.
I am confident that we will recover and rebuild together because we are LA strong.
For California and the country, grateful to those heroes. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.